Now to a CBS News investigation into the dark truth behind the production of one of America's favorite treats, chocolate. CBS's Debora Patta has our exclusive report on the use of child labor in the harvesting of cocoa for candy giant Mars, used in its iconic products like M&Ms and Snickers.
Laboring in the blistering heat. Here, as young as 6, slicing the grass with lethal ease, their machetes nearly as long as the smallest among them. These Ghanaian children are harvesting the cocoa that ends up in America's best-loved chocolates. Instead of going to school, they are learning that sharp blades cut deep and big corporations make promises they seldom keep. We traveled across Ghana's remote cocoa belt, visiting small subsistence farms that supply U.S. chocolate giant Mars, and found children working on every one of them. Mars did over $45 billion in annual sales last year, in large part from selling chocolates like M&Ms and Snickers. Its owners are the third wealthiest family in the U.S. The company vowed to have systems in place to eradicate child labor from its supply chain by 2025, even boasting about rescuing thousands of children who are listed as beneficiaries of what Mars calls their robust monitoring system to keep them off plantations and in schools. CBS News obtained copies of these lists from a whistleblower. We're going to try and find some of the children on these lists and see if the information checks out. Our first stop, 15-year-old Munira.
And your name, I think, is on this list. Do you want to check for me? Is that you?
Here she is, toiling away on her family farm, her life since she was 5 years old. School's a luxury she's hardly ever been.
I feel sad. I want to be a medical doctor, but they don't have money to support me.
The family says it harvested only one bag of decent quality cocoa the entire year. A 140-pound sack fetches around $115. Last year, field supervisors contracted by Mars visited Munira.
And this is all they gave you?
Handing out a backpack and school books with the slogan, "I am a child, I play, I go to school." In the nearly 18 months since that visit, nobody has been back to check that she is in school. This cocoa field supervisor for the past 13 years spoke out on condition we hide his identity.
Personally, I've made lists before. I've made up lists before. And I can say on authority that almost every data is scoop.
Or incorrect?
It's not correct. Nobody has come back to check as to whether it's true or not.
CBS News spoke to nearly a dozen children on that list used by Mars. None of them were in school, nor had they been regularly monitored to ensure they attended classes.
No one came here ever?
And in some cases, the name on the list was an outright fabrication.
We've come to visit another household where a child is listed by Mars as no longer working on cocoa farms.
She was supposed to be this man's daughter. The only problem, she doesn't even exist. When children do go to school, instead of pencils, they carry machetes.
Put your hands up if you work on the cocoa farms.
Less than a third of the 300 students registered here actually attend classes, and they all told us they harvest cocoa either before or after school.
Is all the cocoa here?
CBS News visited a warehouse that supplies cocoa giant Mars.
So you can 100% guarantee that all the cocoa here has no child labor in it?
Seriously, in Ghana, child labor is an offense.
That's not my question. Can you guarantee that all the cocoa here is free of child labor?
That one, I can't say 100%.
US human rights lawyer Terry Collingsworth has filed a proposed class action lawsuit for consumer fraud against American chocolate manufacturers Mars, Cargill and Mondelez.
They're telling the public that we're rehabilitating this kid, and then they're cynically coming here and just checking a box, and the kid is back working the next day. That's fine. That's fine.
He has collected statements from Ghanaian children working for Mars suppliers.
Okay. Thank you for being very brave.
Like these little boys doing the back-breaking work of adult men. Tiny hands struggling with the dangerous work of hacking open cocoa pods, the long blade narrowly missing this 5-year-old's fingers. Mars is one of the biggest privately owned companies in the world, raking in billions every year, in large part from chocolate. Billions made on the backs of these young children.
And we have repeatedly asked Mars for an interview. They declined every request. A security guard asked us to leave their headquarters when we went there. And we even went to the CEO's home to try and get some answers. Mars did send us a statement where they condemn the use of child labour, but concedes more needs to be done. Mars also denies Norah pressuring any field workers to fabricate data.
And Debora, this is such an important investigation. What about the parents of these children?
Well, the parents we spoke to told us that it breaks their heart that they can't afford to send their kids to school. But one thing, Norah, many industry insiders do agree on is that a key solution is to pay the farmers more for their cocoa so that they can put their kids in school instead of working on farms.
Debora Patta, thank you.